Yeah, Tristan, excellent outing today. What was working for you specifically that allowed you to get through six clean innings?
I'd say the biggest thing today was, using my sinker, and the sinker command was a lot better than I think my past couple outings have been. I think being able to throw that more, especially the second and third time through the order, it really helped open up my secondary stuff and kind of keep those hitters off balance.
Yeah, that fifth inning, they had some traffic on the bases. Clark coming up there. Take us through that at bat. I think you got him on a slider, and it looked like probably one of the better sliders you threw all day.
Yeah. You know, I had to step off the mound and I kind of realized myself, this is something that I'm used to. Like, honestly, I was like, I had to tell myself, like, hey, I've been in this situation before. I know how to get out of it, and I just got to make my pitches. And so I regrouped. I know that that was the best hitter up, but I knew that if I challenged him with my best stuff, then he'd have to hit it. And that slider was definitely, I believe, one of my best ones. But yeah, it was just kind of bite your teeth down and execute the pitch, something that I've done before, and it worked out.
Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Tristan, Coach Pierce talks all the time about pitching and defense kind of being where it really starts for you guys. What is today's game? You guys obviously leaning on that, and then yesterday as well, show everyone about the type of team that you guys can be and how you can, keep up with top tier competition, with that being your identity.
Yeah. I mean, pitching and defense is always something that our philosophy will be. And another thing we want to do is try to win in multiple ways. And, the past two games, it's been more so, like you mentioned, with pitching and defense. But who knows, tomorrow maybe our offense is what is kind of like leads the way to the win. But either way, we will enjoy this win today, but it's back to work tomorrow.
Justin, go ahead.
Tristan, how have you felt physically as you've built up to this role? I mean, you're a guy that's kind of done a bit of everything in your career, but this today, getting through six innings for the first time, I'm sure it's probably nice to control your own base runners for a change later in that outing. But how have you felt as you've kind of built up for this role as a starter?
Honestly, I feel good. It's a lot easier actually to take care of your body and your arm when you know when you're going to throw on a weekly basis. So more so not just on game days, but how I take care of myself on my weekly routines. It's actually allowed me to stay physically right and continue to progress with my arm strength as the season goes.
John, hi, go ahead.
Hey, Tristan, you guys knew this was going to be a tough series. Did you guys expect to do what you're doing against a really good team?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's we expect to play like that every game. We know that they're a good team, but we know that we're a good team too. And right now we played a little bit better than them, and the results have came our way.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate y'all.
I don't have the magical hands of Kevin has. Man, what a great ball game, pitching and defense. Outstanding pitching by both guys. I thought Tristan was really good in some stressful times. They had traffic. We had traffic. I think both teams look up and say we left too many runners on base, but sometimes you have to tip your hat to pitching as well. So just a well-played ball game. Fortunately, we had a couple of balls fly out of the park and get an extra one late.
Justin, go ahead.
David, you mentioned before the series about this type of lineup with so much power throughout it that you've got to limit your free passes. You can't nibble those around the plate. You've got to go after those guys. Just, what kind of job did those competitors do on the mound today with Tristan and Wenzel both? They just seemed like pitch after pitch, they're willing to challenge those guys.
Exactly. And they did a nice job of using both sides of the plate. And, they have power and the wind blowing straight to left and stacked right-handed lineup. I thought Tristan did a really nice job using glove side fastball early when they were sitting sinker. And then he was able to open up more so with the sinker and the slider. And Palmer is really at both sides of the plate as well. And when you see a sidewinder, you usually just think sinker in, you got to work inside and on top and stay in the middle of the field. And he did a nice job of hitting with the slider enough and utilizing the arm side fastball as well. Excuse me.
This is the second straight game that's been a really tight game, almost like kind of a postseason vibe to it. Are you seeing a team that's becoming more comfortable in these types of situations? Because they've seemed like the more comfortable team late in games this weekend.
Let's just go back to Arlington. And I think when we look back at those 3 games and how frustrated we were and knowing that we were a better team and that just being a bitter taste in your mouth and understanding that, it's just a baseball game and you guys are really good players. Trust your instincts and go play the game. And that's what I'm seeing. They're a little frustrated at home plate today. And, I thought Jordan was good he's right at the top of the zone, pitches away. He's got really good deception with great spin rate. So makes it difficult. And so you have to make an in-game adjustment. And we were a little slow to do that, but I think I'd like to credit him as well.
Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, David, you touched on it off the top, but pitching and defense, just doing that the last 2 games against a really good team that, obviously came in undefeated. Just how proud are you of the way that you guys have won the last 2 games?
Just extremely proud to see us get better every day. And that's kind of what the message is right now. Look, let's don't look at a big picture. Let's don't worry about, winning a series or or sweeping at this point. Let's just see if we can get a little bit better today in all phases, do your job and get a little more comfortable in those environments. And, the crowd has been so different for us. Honestly, we haven't had a crowd. And so for us to really kind of calm our nerves says that they're paying attention to the mental side of the game and trying to slow it down. And all those things are going to help us as we get deeper in the season.
And back to Dustin.
David, you were able to get Peyton in the lineup today. He rewards you with a homer. What kind of luxury is it to have this kind of dynamic with the designated hitter? You can go left, you can go right. I know you guys are missing Austin right now, but it seems like you have some nice pieces that you could put in there.
No doubt. And that's something that we've tried to start building as the seasons progress. When you look at Dalton Porter, Dalton is a kid that's getting really comfortable coming off the bench. Peyton's a kid that we've always felt like that swings the bat well. He sees the ball. He's got an easy swing. So those things are great and critical when we get into matchups late, but getting that comfort. DJ's had 2 really good at-bats off the bench. We're not down on Ivan. Ivan's still in the mix. We got a couple of position players that need to really understand, they're not swinging it as well as they want to, or maybe we want them to, but you got to do the little things and you stay in there because of defense.
Kendall, go ahead.
What's up, Coach? Obviously, coming into the season, we all kind of expected to, Hanson to be in the weaker rotation. Of course, he's kind of coming back from, the stuff before the season. But how have you kind of seen just Stevens progress as a starter? Obviously, today he went the longest outing of the year. What are you seeing from him in just terms of how he's progressed week after week?
He puts the work in, so he's conditioned, and we know that. He's been into the 6th the 2 previous times and has struggled. Handing it over to the bullpen. They haven't helped him. So that's inflated his numbers, really. His numbers are so much better than what his numbers show. But he's been a kid that, number one, is very comfortable in who he is and how he pitches. He follows Ty Madden every single weekend, and he knows himself as opposed to trying to go out and be a big velocity guy. So he can spin it on both sides with the changeup and the slider. Enough glove side to really open up his sinker. And, he's a pretty cerebral pitcher right now. And, that's fun to watch. And the other thing you love about him is that you know what you're going to get. He's going to prepare, but he's going to command the ball. And that gives you some luxury to feel pretty comfortable. If we can score a run here and there or, have a big inning, we like what we're getting from Tristan.
And back to Jeff.
I guess I probably should have asked Tristan this, but how much do these starters, when they're pitching this well, kind of 2-3 starts back to back to back, how much they really feed off of each other, and what's that level of competition like in that room?
Honestly, I think Tristan's biggest competitor is Ty, and they push each other, they challenge each other. But on game day, You know, Ty's been pretty good on Friday, so Tristan's like, all right, I'm going to try to one up you. He's got his hands full to one up that, but that's his mindset, and I love it. I love how the bullpen is starting to evolve, and we go through this every year. And you want to say, well, he's this guy and he's this guy, but you never know until you get in front of that crowd in a big game like this who guys really are. And Palmer Wenzel's kind of proven that he's a guy that likes the ball and likes the competition and trusts his stuff.